What's up, everyone? So today I got a product review for you. I purchased these because I'm replacing the tile, or the linoleum that used to be there. I'm replacing it with tile in the house, but in doing so I found out that I needed good knee pads, just because the ones I had were crap and they would start chafing the back of my legs just because the straps suck. So we're gonna go over these tough built knee pads, see how they work, show you how I'm using them here to see if they actually hold up and they're all what they're expected to be. So these are the tough built gel knee pads. They have regular ones that don't have the gel in the back. So we're going to go over its price point, its features, and whether or not it's a good purchase after I get this job done. So let's get into this review and see what it's all about. Alright, so for these tough built knee pads, let's go over the features first before I get use out of them, so that way you can see why I purchased these as they look before they get all messed up. So these come in at a price point of about $55 after taxes. They have the ones with a white cup here, and I'm not quite sure what that material is, but I think it's UHMW. These have like a rubber texture. The UHMW style ones are actually non-marring. So if you're interested in that because you're afraid that your tile or your flooring, whatever your knees are on, are going to mar up and leave black marks, look into those. But from my research, I did notice that the people that purchased those were saying that they're not as structurally sound as these ones. So like roofers and stuff, these aren't good for roofers just because they're super slick. Tough Built does make a knee pad without this articulation thing that actually have like rubber pads here that bolt up to the knee pads itself. So that's might be something you're interested in. But other people that do like construction work in general, so they do roofing, maybe framing and all that stuff, they get these anyway just because they have other tasks to achieve. And one guy that commented on Amazon said that he had these held up pretty good. He bought the non-marring ones just for other situations that he's using them for, and he said that the cup actually flexes and eventually lets your knee shift in them, and then the support loses its structure just because these aren't as sturdy in this area. Okay? You adjust them to size. They Velcro, but also have a little clasp, so that way you don't have to keep readjusting the Velcro and eventually wearing out the Velcro. So that's pretty neat. They are stripped of Velcro just because you have your elastic piece here that slides behind it, and then once you adjust it, you're good. You have this piece. The reason why I bought these, they have some other brands that have the same look, but they're actually different because this neoprene right here, on the other brands, they actually have the strap here extend out in this area, and then they use the neoprene in this area that extends out. The issue with that is when you put them on, that little strap here is going to start digging into the side of your leg, which is why I like these, because the neoprene's actually stitched at the beginning of your knee pad itself, and then as you can see on this side too, so it's all neoprene, so you don't have to worry about anything digging into your leg. One thing I don't like is the fact that it's single stitched here. It's already unraveling. I don't know if that's just the material after they're done stitching, if it just is what's left over, but we'll see. The other brands actually have a elastic strap that go from here to here. That's how I noticed that these are similar to some of the other brands. The elastic strap from here to here will retract it back. I don't think that's really necessary, just because the elastic strap is going to be so thin that eventually it's going to stretch out or it's going to cut on this plastic piece. Okay. These knee pads in the front right here, they have support. So when you're actually bending over like this, the floor will touch here, floor will touch here, and it'll support the front of your shin, so that way you don't get fatigued. The reason why I like this articulation area is because it's going to keep it high up on your thigh, whereas some of the other ones, they're actually a material piece right here. The material piece can slide down still, like when you're bending. This will actually have to force up because it's stiff. Okay, So that's why I like the plastic over, say, just extended piece of material. But that's in theory. We'll see how well these do. The articulation is past 90, so if your legs are bent all the way back, you could still bend past that, so you don't have to be at a perfect 90 like this. You could actually sit your legs on your butt if you're resting. So these knee cups have structure in here, super padded in this area, here it thins out a little bit, and then this is where your gel zone is, so that way it's a lot more comfortable on your knees. We'll see how well this holds up with this tile job, and hopefully the gel doesn't shift down from your knee moving around in there. Okay. One thing I want to point out is if you're used to knee pads being flat, these are curved, so your knees are gonna rock back and forth, so that might fatigue your hips. But like I said, they do have knee pads that have a flat face, which you might want to look into, but they don't have the thigh support. Okay. In doing so, if you do get the flat ones, some people don't like those just because when they're flat, it holds your knees out permanently until you like actually lift up and move them in. So this might be better because you can rock your knees in as you're moving from one position to another. So that might be a benefit. It might be a con depending on your body type and what you like. Another option that you might be interested in if you don't like knee pads is a foam pad like this, just where you can move around and put your knees on like such. The issue with something like this is you got to lift it up everywhere you go and move it. Whereas a knee pad situation, you could, position your body wherever and your knees are always going to be in place with comfort. This, you're going to have to, use more body movement. It might start hurting your back because you got to stand up, move it, sit back down, set it back down, bend over, get back up. Just a lot of transitioning from up and down. So that's something to consider if you're interested in something like that. So these are the knee pads I was saying I started with, and they're super thin, the foam. I don't recommend foam. I do recommend the gel though. But these are cheap. The elastic stretches out over time, as you can see through it, but they're super loose. These are junk. So I have been using these. When using them, one thing you want to do is spend some time and adjust them. So adjust them to fit your size. That's number one. Number two is make sure you're wearing pants when you're doing so, because I'm not wearing pants, I'm wearing shorts. So what ends up happening is the inside of my thighs, this pushes in on them right here. So this piece right here, it's pushing in, and it causes a discomfort when you're bending down. So as you can see, when I'm bending down, this slides up into my leg, okay? And it grips right here because that's where it's curving. So this is uncomfortable in this area. So I do recommend you wearing pants, some thicker material. One thing I did notice is you can remove this. So you should be able to unscrew that. Maybe, I think that this should unscrew. But either way, I noticed like without this and kicking it forward, I could wear the back strap and it feels comfortable without any issues. So with shorts, I definitely recommend probably looking at the ones without this. If you wear pants, then you could use this. But like I said, this piece right here on this inner part where this rivet is, it actually digs up into my thigh. It like kicks in just because it's cinching down, and this angle that it's at pulls it in. So far a little discomfort, not too bad compared to those ones. I do recommend these by far at this point in time. All right, so one thing I found out after doing some research is a lot of people with problems with this digging into their side, or feeling uncomfortable, is they put their hand on the backside. Let me see, right here. So they put their hand back here, right, and then strap it over, loosen it up, and then let the Velcro take control. So what they end up doing is leaving this super loose, just so it stays with your leg but doesn't pull into your leg. And after doing that, and using it now for a day, it actually did loosen up. And also sweating in it, the straps do stretch a little bit, and they pull less into your thigh as before when they were brand new. So yeah, loosening this up, I highly recommend to start with. But they were also comfortable just using this strap alone. I'm not sure if you could actually take this off. I know that this is a rivet, but there has to be some threaded piece. They do sell them just plain and simple without the insert here or the attachment to your thigh here. So that should be an option for you to be able to take them off. But after using it and loosening this up, it doesn't pull into my thigh as it did before. So spending some time in adjusting it and understanding your equipment will help you in the long run. I wouldn't be opposed to looking into those ones with the foam across the top or the padding that keeps it up. That might even be a better deal if you're having problems with it digging into your thighs, if you have larger thighs. If you're a skinnier person, this might be okay because it kicks in a little bit, but on a skinnier person, this might be okay for your thighs. So I do recommend maybe checking out those. I might get some of those just to see how they work out. But overall, I do recommend them. There's nothing you could pick up that's, you know, in that price range that is going to be better than this. The ones that are going to be better than this are going to cost you well over $100, and anything below this price point, it's just not worth buying. So if you're looking for knee pads because you're always moving around and you need them, I recommend these or just the cups that are this brand. If you're looking for something just, you know, to move around on the floor, I do recommend a pad because that seems to give you the most comfort because you don't have anything actually attached to your leg. So when laying down the tile, what I found to be more comfortable than these is sitting on a pad, crisscross applesauce. So something like this, laying my tile down and then scoot. These are fine, they work good after it was adjusted. The only issue with these are you're on your hands and knees a lot. And with this being curved, I felt myself leaning forward more because it was pivoting more on this area than a flat would have done. So if these were flat, it would have kept you in place. But these, you have to hold your balance from leaning forward too much. The structure here though, helps support your shin, keep everything even, especially with your shoe. So that's a nice touch. But like I said, curvature, I'd rather have it flat just so it keeps me in place when using them. But I do prefer setting something like this on a pad and then laying down the mortar, setting the tile. It's just less on your wrist too, because when you're like this and you're on your knees, I feel like my wrists start fatiguing, especially on cement. It just draws all that moisture out of your hands, touching all this, and your wrists start getting fatigued. So that's going to complete today's video on these knee pads. I highly recommend them if you're in purchasing something like this, because you're not going to get a better deal. So I definitely recommend it. If you like this little quick video, definitely give it a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. If you want to see content like this or other content I'll be posting in the near future like this remodel, definitely stay tuned for that and subscribe. Until next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.